Okay, it being 5 p.m., the Lafourche Parish Council meeting of September 10th, 2024 is hereby called to order. Ms. Carleen, could you please conduct roll call?
Yes, sir. Mr. Brumfield.
Present.
Mr. Adams.
Present.
Mr. Perk.
Here.
Mr. Melvin is not with us tonight. Mr. Rodrigue.
Here.
Mr. Arabi.
Here.
Chairman Oten.
Here.
Mrs. Chasson. Here. Mr. Lorraine. Here. President Chasson is here. He's just not in the chambers at this time.
Thank you very much, Ms. Carleen. If everyone would please rise, we'll be led in invocation by Councilman Perk, followed by Pledge of Allegiance by Councilman Brumfield.
9/11 tomorrow, too. Father, Son, Holy Spirit, amen. Thank you, Lord, for gathering us here this evening to take care of our parish work. Please guide us through this meeting. We also ask that you keep everyone who will be in harm's way of the approaching storm. Please protect them and keep them safe. And let's also remember tomorrow's 9/11. Remember all those who lost their lives to, unfortunately, trying to help others. So with this we ask in your name, amen.
Amen.
Father, Son, and Spirit.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, I'd like to welcome everyone to tonight's meeting. I'd like to remind anyone wishing to address the council, please fill out a blue form at the entryway and get it up to the council clerk. Also, please silence your phones and or turn them off out of respect for others. With that said, we'll jump right into tonight's minutes. Item A, approval of minutes. I'll now entertain a motion to accept the minutes of the August 27, 2024 regular session. So moved by Councilman Adams, second by Mr. Perk. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes with 8 yeas, 0 nays, 1 absence, that absence being Councilman Melvin. Item B, state and or federal legislative updates. None. Moves to item C, we have none. Item D, proclamations. Item 2, Mr. Terry Arabi, Councilman District 6, to present a proclamation honoring Pastor Lawana Ingram Martz as pastor of Kingdom Impact Global Worship Center for her numerous contributions to our church and the community. Mr. Arabi, you have the floor, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have a proclamation here I'd like to read for Pastor Lawana Ingram Martz, State of Louisiana, Parish of Lafourche proclamation, whereas Lafourche Parish Councilman Terry Arabi, District 6, wishes to honor Pastor Lawana Ingram Martz as pastor of the Kingdom Impact Global Worship Center and congratulate her on numerous contributions to her church and her community over the years, and whereas God has actually had a great plan and purpose for bringing Pastor Lawana Ingram Martz into the earth realm. She is a goal-oriented and passionate woman of God that uses every opportunity to capitalize on the gifts and callings in her life to make a change in the lives of others. And whereas her purpose...
You got it? We had some kind of a blip. It cut you off for a second. Sorry about that.
Whereas her purposeful life started with her first yes to God as a child and has continued throughout her nursing career during the launching of her outreach ministry, and now as she shepherds the flock of Kingdom Impact Global Worship Center in Rayson. Whereas being purpose-driven can be seen as a challenge that many would consider an uphill struggle, however, Pastor Martz sees any challenge as an opportunity for God's glory to be seen. Opposition becomes the fuel of completion for every assignment. And whereas Pastor Martz is not just a pastor, she is a God prophet and gifted with an apostolic grace upon her life. She is a fierce advocate for the community where she pastors and serves. She challenges systems and the status quo to ensure lives are transformed and impacted, resulting in change for the better. She is original in her thinking, pioneering in her movement and strategy in her action. She speaks in authority and has been prophesied that she is voice for this region and not an echo. And whereas she relies on the total sufficient grace of God for every assignment given, she remains constant in intercession and heeds to God's direction. Her desire is to please and glorify God in everything she does. Her passion has produced clear purpose, deep compassion, and a bold spirit that gives her the courage to go out and change the world. She truly believes in the transforming power of God as he has taken her, an ordinary woman, and transformed her into a woman of purpose. She sees the good in those that fail to see the good in themselves and frequently reminds them that they do too have purpose. And whereas Pastor Mart is one of the founding leaders of the Church of Raceland, which undefined the community based on the premises of love and unity, and in 2022 implemented the school lunch prayer at local schools as being Raceland Lower, Raceland Upper, Middle, and Central Lafourche High School. Under her leadership, the church became a gold sponsor to the Raceland Middle School, where she and other members from the ministry frequently volunteer. She is the sponsor of the Central Lafourche Trojan Buddies, who help mentor RMS kids. The church fed the hungry outreach after Hurricane Ida during COVID-19, drive-through prayer, monthly community prayer, prayer journals to the jail for the women, feeding men on APOR, and nursing home partnership. Pastor March is a member of the Lafourche Parish Sheriff's Office COPE Steering Committee. The church co-hosts monthly meetings of Community Watch, in which leadership is actively involved, and she attends school board meetings, water district meetings, parish council meetings, and an ear and a voice for the community. Now therefore be it resolved by the Lafourche Parish Council convened in regular session on September 10, 2024, we do hereby congratulate and honor Pastor Luana Ingram March for her numerous contributions to her church and her community, and for not being a pastor in the wall, but a minister of presence, bridging the gap between the church and the community. In witness thereof, I, Terry Araby, Councilman District 6 of Lafourche Parish Council, do hereby set my signature and have caused to be affixed the official seal of the Lafourche Parish Council, State of Louisiana, this 10th day, September 2024, Raceland, Louisiana. Congratulations, Ms. Marks.
You have, yeah, so you have to come to the mic and state.
President in his absence, Chairman, and to all of the councilmen, councilwomen, I just appreciate this opportunity to just be a spokesperson for the community. I understand what it's like in your capacity, serving such a wide variety of persons, personalities, and it just gives me great pleasure to be a representative, not just for God, but for people. And that's my heart's compassion, is to see people be different, people be changed, lives be better, and the community be a better place. So I appreciate the honor, and this is not my doing, it's the Lord's doing. This is what he's called me to do. But again, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Honor working with you.
Okay, it brings us to item 3. Item 3 will be deferred until the September 24th, 2024 meeting. Item E, presentations and or updates. Item 4, a representative from the Lafourche office of the LSU Ag Center present a quarterly report. So this is why I don't like putting on the agenda. We can just leave it as presentation updates and just have them there next time instead of calling them out. Okay, so they're not present. Item F, engineers and or architect reports. Yes, sir, you have the mic. Made it just in time. Yeah, I think on presentation updates, we just leave it on. Hate to publish all that. I just hate to publish it.
Oh, I know.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
There we go. Good evening, Kevin Dezarn with GIS Engineering. Update you on our project statuses. Okay, this is the Butch Hill Pump Station. This one, as I reported, is designed, ready to go. So as soon as we get authorization that we're ready to go, we'll bid this project. This is the Valentine Pontoon Bridge. As I have been reporting, we are still coordinating with DOTD, trying to figure out the path forward on this project. That's about all I have on that one. Grand Bayou Freshwater, we are working through final design. We've had multiple team meetings, getting all parties involved and executing this final design portion. This is a new rendering of the updates that we'll be doing. So this is the latest rendering that we have with the canal and the pump station as it's finally going to look. This is the waste collection facility. This project, we've provided the options to parish government, to staff. We're waiting to hear back from them if we want to move forward with excavating the material out and replacing it with river sand. We haven't heard anything back, so as soon as we hear the path forward, we will continue design work on that. For the hurricane pump station rehabilitation, we've coordinated with LPG consultants for the FEMA portion of that to get reimbursements. Other than that, we did the preliminary design kickoff for Ravenswood, and the company canal design is ongoing. Okay, and the Eunice Alamon, as I reported last month, this project was pulled at the last minute before the bid opening date. We are waiting on the bridge due to the Hamilton Street Bridge. So as soon as that bridge project goes to advertise, I believe the plan is to re-advertise this also. The Midway drainage study, we are continuing finalization of the model runs there and running the alternative analysis for that. And the Lockport elevated boardwalk, no real work was done on this. We're still just waiting to hear the path forward on this project. Any questions?
Mr. Perk, you have the floor, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, on the Valentine Bridge,
Yes, sir.
we're waiting on DOTD to, I know this has been in discussion,
Yes.
and I'm not shooting the messenger here.
Yeah.
I know we've discussed it for quite a while, and that, I guess with the RAISE grant, their expectations or their specifications and requirements were pretty extensive.
Correct.
And I know there was maybe some conversation of that, okay, do we scratch the RAISE grant and maybe could we afford to do it without it? Would the cost come down? I'm just kind of curious because we've been talking about it for a while, and
So-
my counterpart here just kind of cringes every time we because it's, it's just been going on for so long, so.
Correct. So we did the application for the RAISE grant. We initiated this project without the RAISE grant and federal funding. We got all the way through 95% of final design. We had the package pretty much ready to go. And then we got the notification that we were awarded the RAISE grant, I believe, for $2.5, a little over $2 million. But like you said, with the RAISE grant came some significant design standards that we were not anticipating. And it's been a lot of back and forth. And when earlier this year, we came to the realization that the RAISE grant and the additional stipulations that they were going to put on us was going to cost the project upwards of $5 to $7 million additional of what the normal design project cost. So we've been trying to coordinate with DOTD of what's the avenue of the parish pulling out of the RAISE grant and saying they don't want to pursue that funding opportunity anymore. They just want to revert back to a normal Lafourche Parish funded project that has some assistance from DOT, I think $1 million from DOTD that was already obligated.
And the date on that is what? Can you give us a date so we can put this in the minutes, like dates?
I have a list of dates that we have provided the parish multiple times. I can forward that
I'm talking
information
about
to
going
you.
forward, because I mean, I think what you just said, I heard several
So-
months ago, I don't know,
Yes.
that's nothing new.
Yes, and we have had several meetings with our, we have a DOTD project manager. Her name's Barbara,
Olestad or whatever.
yeah, I'm missing her last name. But we've had several meetings, several emails back and forth with Barbara, trying to get this resolved. She keeps, I don't want to badmouth anybody, but we're not getting the information we need.
Let the record reflect President Chesson entered the meeting at 17:12 hours. No, my only point being is when you come to the next meeting and bring it up again, is it going to be the same thing you just said again, or are you going to have something new? Like a date, I'm looking for dates versus just reading the same thing over and over and over and over and over. I think we've heard it maybe over a dozen times already, the
Yes.
same thing.
It's since, this has been since April of this year.
That's the last change we've had.
Yes.
Okay, that's my point. So maybe in the future, you just say no update, no change, or something like that. I don't know, because it kind of gets confusing. You mentioned the same thing, and it just brings more questions up. So you don't have any dates
We
going
are,
forward?
every week, we contact DOTD, whether we send them an email or call her, trying to get a resolution to this. So it's not like we're not working on it, but we're not progressing the project forward because we don't know what avenue we're gonna have to take.
So I have requested in the past, in the last few months, because of the repetitiveness of many of these projects, if there would be a way that y'all could put on these slideshows, update, date, this is what's new, versus, is this the same thing again? Let me go back and look at the last, you see what I'm saying? Like,
Okay.
yeah, on all of them, if we can know what's fresh, right? I think that we all would agree with that. Mr. Lorraine, you have the floor, sir.
Yeah, there was, I always understood they were looking at 4.5 million, but I've always said that it's not even gonna be close to that. And I'm basing it back on 12, 15 years ago when we did Cutoff Bridge, it was 5.5 million. So in today's world with the inflation you got, there's no way you're gonna do it for 4.5 million. We done probably over $1 million just with the engineer costs. Not criticizing you, I'm just saying that's probably what it is. So you ain't gonna do it for 4.5, I can promise you that.
Our last submitted cost estimate, I can assure you, was not 4.5 million. It was much higher than that. I don't have the figures in front of me, but I can supply that to the staff and they can forward it to you. Our last.
I
cost
think that's
estimate.
what Mr. Otan wants, some kind of answers.
Yeah, this started off as a timber pile replacement bridge, and then state said, you can't do that, and that's, well, initially they said we could, I think, and then eventually got to where we could. Anyway, my only point being, I just would like to know what's new, what's fresh, because I do get the emails, the quarterly reports and stuff regarding this. And I'm just, we're all covering 1,000 different things, and I just want to know what the new thing is. What's updated? I need to decipher this and figure it out. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
But appreciate it.
Yeah, we
Anybody
can
has
make
any
that
else, any questions? Mr. President, you have the floor, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And Kevin doesn't even know this. I had a brief conversation with the DOT secretary at an event last week because the issue we're running into is that as nice as Ms. Barbara is, she's a DOTD bureaucrat, right? So she's not giving us any true answers. It's all about what we need. You need to figure out what you need to do, and then we can give you answers. Well, if you're telling me that even if we give up the raised grant dollars, if DOTD is still going to put all these design-specific criteria on us that are going to drive the cost to what could be a $12 million bridge, then you can keep your lowly $1 million, and I'll figure out how to go build the $4.5 or $5 million bridge we really need. And she won't do that. So my conversation with Secretary Donahue last Thursday was, hey, I'm going to send you an email about this with all the correspondence. I need you or Barry, who's your undersecretary, to help push this. So to a specific date when we're going to have an answer, I wish I could. I'll try to give you guys an update at the next meeting at the end of September if we've had some conversations by then. But DOTD is being very DOTD. So it's been a cluster for us.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Much appreciated. Safe travels back. Any other engineers and or architect reports? Brings us to item G, public wishing to address the council, public hearings, agenda items, et cetera. We have none. Brings us to item H, public hearings and ordinances for ratification. I'll now entertain a motion to open public hearing. So moved by DeJay, second by Mr. Adams. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 8 yeas, 0 nays, 1 absence. That absence being Councilman Melvin. Item 5, ordinance rescinding ordinance number 5110 that established no parking on St. Charles Bypass Road from LA1 to the first residence on the left-hand side of the road, 121 St. Charles Bypass Road, as requested by the new property owner, Thibodaux, Louisiana, Ward 3, District 4, Parish of Lafourche, State of Louisiana, and providing for the removal of no parking signs at the location stated above. Will someone move on behalf of Mr. Perk? Will move for Mr. Melvin, second by Mr. Adams. Would anyone from the public like to comment on the ordinance at number 5? Second call, public input, item number 5. Last and final call. Anyone from the public wants to comment on this particular ordinance? Anyone from the council? There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes with 8 yeas, 0 nays, 1 absence. That absence being Councilman Melvin. Item 6, ordinance amending ordinance number 6948 that adopted the 2024 operations and maintenance and capital budget for the Lafourche Parish Council, as well as setting the salaries of unclassified employees as provided for by Article 5 of the Lafourche Parish Home Rule Charter. Ms. Chesson for the administration, second by Mr. Perk. Would anyone from the public like to comment on the ordinance at number 6? Second call, public input on the ordinance at number 6. Last and final call. Anyone from the public would like to comment on this particular ordinance? Anyone from the council? There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passed with 8 yeas, 0 nays, 1 absence. That absence being Councilman Melvin. Item 7, ordinance approving an act of donation between Lafourche Parish Government and the Lafourche 4-H Foundation for a utility trailer and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said donation and any and all relevant documents. Moved by Mr. Araby, second by Mr. Lorraine. Would anyone from the public like to comment on the ordinance at number 7? Second call, public input on the ordinance at number 7. Last and final call. Anyone from the public wants to comment on the ordinance at number 7? Anyone from the council? There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passed with 8 yeas, 0 nays, 1 absence. That absence being Councilman Melvin. I'm now entertaining a motion to close public hearing. Motion by Mr. Adams, second by Mr. Bromfield. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passed 8 yeas, 0 nays, 1 absence. That absence being Councilman Melvin. Item I, proposed ordinances. Number 8, proposed ordinance amending ordinance number 1409, reducing the speed limit from 20 miles per hour to 10 miles per hour on School Lane, Thibodaux, Louisiana, Ward 6, District 2, Parish of Lafourche, State of Louisiana, providing for the placement of speed limit signs and providing penalties for the violations thereof by Mr. Adams. Item 9, proposed ordinance establishing a no parking fire lane at 135 West 158th Street and installing 4 no parking fire lane signs at 135 West 158th Street across from the north side of the fire station, Galliano, Louisiana, Ward 10, District 9, Parish of Lafourche, State of Louisiana, installing the necessary 4 no parking fire lane signs at the location stated above and providing penalties for the violations thereof by Mr. Lorraine. Item 10, proposed ordinance to establish the placement of up to 4 garbage cans at all public boat launches in Lafourche Parish by Mr. Lorraine. Number 11, proposed ordinance levying and imposing taxes for 2024 on all the property subject to taxation in the Parish of Lafourche. Council on Aging, Mr. Adams for the administration. Item 12, proposed ordinance levying and imposing taxes for 2024 on all the property subject to taxation in the Parish of Lafourche. General Alimony, Mr. Adams for the administration. Item 13, proposed ordinance levying and imposing taxes for 2024 on all the property subject to taxation in the Parish of Lafourche. Criminal tax, Mr. Adams for the administration. Item 14, proposed ordinance levying and imposing taxes for 2024 on all the property subject to taxation in the Parish of Lafourche. Veterans Memorial District, Ward 10, Mr. Lorraine for the administration. Item 15, proposed ordinance levying and imposing taxes for 2024 on all the property subject to taxation in the Parish of Lafourche Special Service District Number 1, Mr. Adams for the administration. Item 16, proposed ordinance levying and imposing taxes for 2024 on all the property subject to taxation in the Parish of Lafourche Library 014, Mr. Adams for the administration. Item 17, proposed ordinance levying and imposing taxes for 2024 on all the property subject to taxation in the Parish of Lafourche Library 017, Mr. Adams for the administration. Item 18, proposed ordinance levying and imposing taxes for 2024 on all the property subject to taxation in the Parish of Lafourche Public Buildings, Mr. Adams for the administration. Item 19, proposed ordinance levying and imposing taxes for 2024 on all the property subject to taxation in the Parish of Lafourche Drainage Works and Roads, Mr. Adams for the administration. Item 20, proposed ordinance levying and imposing taxes for 2024 on all the property subject to taxation in the Parish of Lafourche Recreational Facilities, Mr. Adams for the administration. Item 21, proposed ordinance levying and imposing taxes for 2024 on all the properties subject to taxation in the Parish of Lafourche Health Unit, Mr. Adams for the administration. Item 22, proposed ordinance levying and imposing taxes for 2024 on all the properties subject to taxation in the parish of Lafourche Fire Protection District Number 9. Mr. Araby for the administration. Item 23, proposed ordinance levying and imposing taxes for 2024 on all the properties subject to taxation in the parish of Lafourche Health and Library. Mr. Adams for the administration. Item 24, proposed ordinance levying and imposing taxes for 2024 on all the properties subject to taxation in the parish of Lafourche Fire Protection District Number 4. Mr. Melvin for the administration. I'm sorry, Mr. Melvin's not here. Mr. Perk, will you please sponsor on behalf of the administration? Item 25, proposed ordinance levying and imposing taxes for 2024 on all the properties subject to taxation in the parish of Lafourche Fire Protection District Number 1. Mr. Araby for the administration. And that brings us to item J, resolutions. Number 26, resolution requesting, second request, the Louisiana Department of Transportation Development, LADOTD, to check out the artesian well on the shoulder of LA1 on the Bayou side across from West 171st Street, West 172nd Street, and West 186th Street due to the overflow of water from the shoulder staying on LA1 from the artesian well. Motion by Mr. Lorraine, second by Mr. Pert. Any discussion? Oh, I thought you were about to press your button. All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion passes 8 yeas, 0 nays, 1 absence. That absence being Councilman Melvin. Item 27, resolution accepting a low bid of Han Enterprises Incorporated in the amount of $262,065 for the project titled New Bleachers for the Raceland Ag Rodeo Arena and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer an agreement and any all relevant documents. Mr. Araby for the administration, second by Mr. Lorraine. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 8 yeas, 0 nays, 1 absence. That absence being Councilman Melvin. Item 28, resolution approving an agreement between Lafourche Parish Government and Lafourche 4-H Foundation for the donation of a utility trailer and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement and any all relevant documents. Mr. Araby for the administration, second by Mr. Rodriguez. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 8 yeas, 0 nays, 1 absence. That absence being Councilman Melvin. Item 29, resolution approving an application for federal assistance in the amount of $3,392,626 for the purpose of operating a Head Start program and authorizing the parish president and the council chairman to sign, execute, and administer said application and any all relevant documents. Ms. Chesson for the administration, second by Mr. Rodriguez. Any discussion? There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 8 yeas, 0 nays, 1 absence. That absence being Councilman Melvin. Is that going to happen tonight, the signatures? Y'all have that?
For the application?
Yeah.
Probably.
Normally when we vote on this, y'all usually have, I'm just asking. Okay. Appreciate it. Item 30, resolution approving a contract between the Division of Administration, Lafourche Parish Government for the fiscal year 2023-2024, funding through the State of Louisiana Office of Community Development, Community Water Enrichment Fund, CWEF, for the Lafourche Parish Water District Number 1, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement and any all relevant documents. Mr. Perk will move on behalf of the administration, second by Mr. Lorraine. Any discussion? There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 8 yeas, 0 nays, 1 absence. That absence being Councilman Melvin. That brings us to item 31, resolution requesting the Lafourche Parish Council to approve the Lafourche Parish Head Start bylaws and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer any and all relevant documents. Ms. Chesson for the administration, second by Mr. Perk. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 8 yeas, 0 nays, 1 absence. That absence being Councilman Melvin. Item 32, resolution approving change order number 1 for the project titled New Animal Shelter, increasing the contract price by $9,167.30 and adding 13 additional days to the contract time and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said change order and any and all relevant documents. Mr. Perk for the administration, second by Ms. Chesson. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 8 yeas, 0 nays, 1 absence. That absence being Councilman Melvin. Item 33, resolution approving change order number 6 for the project titled Bayou Blue Park Hurricane Idle Repairs and Replacements, increasing the contract price by $17,500 and adding 5 additional days to the contract time, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said change order and any all relevant documents. Mr. Roderick for the administration, second by Mr. Araby. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 8 yeas, 0 nays, 1 absence. That absence being Councilman Melvin. Item 34, resolution approving agreement between Lafourche Parish Recreation District Number 11 and the Parish of Lafourche to provide reimbursement for Hurricane Ida repairs and replacements, change order number 6, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement and any all relevant documents. Mr. Roderick for the administration, second by Mr. Araby. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 8 yeas, 0 nays, 1 absence. That absence being Councilman Melvin. Item 35, resolution approving amendment number 1 to the agreement between Lafourche Parish Government and Lafourche Parish Sheriff's Office for cost sharing for the Lafourche Parish Correctional Complex, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said amendment and any all relevant documents. Mr. Adams for the administration, second by Mr. Perk. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 8 yeas, 0 nays, 1 absence. That absence being Councilman Melvin. Item 36, resolution approving an agreement between Nicholls State University and Lafourche Parish Government to provide funding for the Small Business Development Center Bayou Region in the amount of $37,500 annually through 2027, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement and any all relevant documents. Mr. Perk for the administration, second by? Second by Ms. Chesson. Discussion. There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 7 yeas, 0 nays, 1 abstention. That abstention being Councilman Adams, and 1 absence, that being Mr. Melvin.
Got it.
All right.
Thank you.
Item 37, resolution appointing 2 members to the Industrial Development Board of the Parish of Lafourche. Mr. Perk for the administration.
We've got
Hold on. There you go.
2 applicants, Mr. Chet Chasson, Mr. Ben LeBlanc.
Mr. Chesson, Mr. LeBlanc, second by Mr. Adams. Any discussion? Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just want to take this opportunity. Ben LeBlanc is replacing Dan Duplantis Jr. on the Industrial Development Board. And I just want to thank Mr. Dan for the first 4.5 years of serving on that board as we kind of worked through the initial tax agreements. He did a really good job. It was a huge asset to us, and looking forward to working with Ben.
Very good. Well said. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passed 8 yeas, 0 nays, 1 absence. That absence being Councilman Melvin. Item 38, resolution approving a contract between Office of Public Health, Bureau of Community Preparedness, and Lafourche Parish Government for the fiscal year 2025 Cities Readiness Initiative, CRI, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said contract and any all relevant documents. Mr. Perk for the administration, second by Mr. Araby. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 8 yeas, 0 nays, 1 absence. That absence being Councilman Melvin. Item 39, resolution approving agreement with Fletcher Technical Community College for Work Ready U program at Beyond the Bell, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement and any all relevant documents. Mr. Araby for the administration, second by Mr. Roderick. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 8 yeas, 0 nays, 1 absence. That absence being Councilman Melvin. Item 40, resolution approving amendment number 8 to the agreement between the Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, Department of Homeland Security, DHS, and Lafourche Parish Government for use of the Lafourche Parish Recreation District Number 2 Raceland Gym, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said amendment and any all relevant documents. Mr. Araby for the administration, second by Mr. Roderick. Any discussion? There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 8 yeas, 0 nays, 1 absence. That absence being Councilman Melvin. Item 41, resolution approving change order number 3 for the project titled Recreation District Number 2, Milton P. Araby Raceland Community Park, Hurricane Ida replacements and repairs, increasing the contract price by $32,032.12, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said change order and any all relevant documents. Mr. Araby for the administration, second by Mr. Lorraine. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passed 8 yeas, 0 nays, 1 absence. That absence being Councilman Melvin. Item 42, resolution approving agreement between Lafourche Parish Council, Office of Community Action, and 2 pharmacy assistance providers for the purpose of providing prescription assistance, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreements and any all relevant documents. Mr. Brumfield for the administration, second by Mr. Perk. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 8 yeas, 0 nays, 1 absence. That absence being Councilman Melvin. Item 43, resolution accepting the bid from Thompson Construction Company, LLC, in the amount of $6,768,900 for the project titled Hurricane Ida Galliano Government Complex Interior Rebuild, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer an agreement and any all relevant documents. Mr. Lorraine for the administration, second by Mr. Perk. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 8 yeas, 0 nays, 1 absence. That absence being Councilman Melvin. Brings us to item K, Parish President, Department Heads, Directors, or Managers' Reports, Presentations, and our updates. Item 44, Department of Public Works Representative to present a report. Mr. Chesson, you have the floor, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So Dylan did finish his report. We're going to email it to you guys in a link and publish it. As you can imagine, last couple of days we've been a little busy, so we'll make sure you guys get that by email no later than midnight tonight.
Very good. Brings us to item L, questions for the administration. Ms. Chasson, you have the floor, ma'am.
This isn't hurricane related. It's just something that's been going on. I was wondering if y'all had an answer. Some people down in District 8 and 9, they're complaining of yellowish water. Anybody know why that's happening? Yellow water in the tap.
Yeah. I've seen a couple pictures on Facebook, Mr. Chairman, but I'll reach out to Wayne and see if there's a reason. Just the whole district or any particular street?
That's the thing, it's kind of intermittent, and I know they're changing out water lines on 32, 35. I didn't know if that was playing into some of them complaining. I'm not seeing it where I am, I just know some people are seeing it in different areas.
Okay. We'll
Okay.
figure that out for you.
Thank you. And it doesn't smell, they said that it does smell the chlorine like it's treated water, but just didn't know why it was yellow.
Very good. No further questions for the administration. Brings us to item N, discussion. Mr. Chesson, you can start us off, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just so you guys know, as kind of a quick hurricane update as we move into tomorrow, in coordination with the sheriff's office, just before the meeting, we did issue a kind of a curfew starting at noon tomorrow through sunrise on Thursday. If you're essential personnel, have to get to one of our hospitals, a nursing home, you have your placards. We hit that button for the reentry. Just have your ID in that placard. The sheriff's office will be checking people as they move around. All indications are, we've seen from one of the New Orleans stations a weird model that shows it kind of running over Houma and then over kind of Lockport, Central Lafourche, and then going over New Orleans and in the North Shore. The National Hurricane Center models, all the other news stations aren't showing that. So I don't know where they're getting their data from. If they dreamt that up, they hit a wrong button. I don't know where they got it from. But we're sticking with what we're seeing. We had a call with the Weather Service just before we walked in here. I want to thank Mayor Clemoff for coming down to the meeting tonight. He joined us in the EOC for that call. All indications are it's still going to be kind of a Morgan City landfall. We do have some concerns in working with the levee district about Lower Bayou Blue. So your district, Mr. Rodrigue, we do still have a contractor on site with some of our employees on Bayou Falls Road, putting out some of the bladders in the low spot along Bayou Falls Road. We took care of that issue in the Zalmans, Mr. Araby, for you. I'll let you know about that this morning. We got to as many concerns as we could in the time frame. We still have a little bit of time tomorrow morning. Crews will be out again tomorrow morning doing some sandbag operations and stuff like that. But we'll send most of those guys home around lunch, especially with the curfew, so they make sure they get out. Other than that, the shelter opened at 5. The evacuations order started at 5 o'clock. So that'll stay in place through the duration of the event on Thursday. We're hopeful by, early wee morning hours of Thursday, this thing's out of here. And we can start to do damage assessments. Philip May from Energy just tried calling about their response efforts. They're ramping people in to get power back up and restored as quickly as we can as well. So as the event progresses tomorrow, we will be here. We're not going home tonight. So you guys need anything, just reach out to us.
Thank you, Mr. President. I don't know if anybody else has anything under discussion. I have a few things. So first one, I do want to mention about a few safety issues. You mentioned about the curfew, which I'm pleased to hear. We just would respectfully request that people stay off the roads and kind of hunker down at their houses, so that way first responders don't have to end up on the highway. The hospitals don't end up with unnecessary visitors, if you will. Also, we'll say if anybody runs their generators, just remember we had massive issues with carbon monoxide poisoning after Hurricane Ida like we've never seen before. So just keep in mind where that generator's running, where you're keeping your fuel stock at. It's really important. It probably was the biggest threat we had after Hurricane Ida was with generators. I just want to bring up, so I mentioned to you about the squatters, the people living in the little pontoon boats and all this and the trash all in the by Rouse's. I just wanted to pass on to you. I made a pass in the bayou with my grandkids on Sunday just to kind of go see what's going on. And the lady that was there was out on the porch butt naked. I've since have talked to people in the town. They say she's like that all the time. So I'm just trying to up the ante on addressing that issue, and I want to bring that to your attention. That's a mess.
So we did figure out who the landowner is. We did that late last week. He did give us permission to do what we had to do to remove him. So barring any complications, I'm gonna try to type up some stuff and go post it on Friday. If we don't have too many impacts, that'll give them a 10-day notice to provide some type of document that says they have the right to be there. After that 10-day notice, we're gonna do like we did with the other squatters. If they don't provide anything and that stuff is still there, we're gonna latch on to it and move it.
Let me know if you need assistance.
You got
Glad
it.
to help. Fire department's all about it. Next thing, I want to give a shout out to the town of Lockport. There was a huge building that was torn down with no permits and no dumpsters, and placed right next to the fire station, which we use as a pod site. And anyway, with this storm approaching, I was very concerned with it. So I do want to reach out to the mayor, please, also, and thank him for assisting to get that resolved for us. Next thing I have is we had a Entergy blip again today. I want to let you know that, Mr. President, we lost power from Bollinger South, so two big employers in the parish. Once again, I will tell y'all that in the last few years, Entergy's reliability has been the worst it's ever been in my public history, which is at about 33 years right now. The reliability of the grid has been unbelievably poor. So I know that they're working through issues. They've had meetings last week based on some of the pressure put on by the administration, but I want to relay to y'all that before the weather was out beautiful and we lost power again today, both employers. So just wanted to put that on the record. Next thing I want to mention is a Raceland VFW. I'm going to mention this for Mr. Araby. On Saturday, we'll be having a jambalaya cook-off right here in Raceland. And the following Saturday, there will be a spaghetti cook-off at the community center in Lockport to support the rebuild of 2 fire stations. So any participation anyone could visit would be much appreciated. With that said, do we have any further discussion? That brings us to item J. Adjournment on a motion by Mr. Pert, second by Mr. Roderick, and with no further business, the Lafourche Parish Council regular meeting of September 10th, 2024 will be adjourned at 17:42 hours. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes 8 yeas, 0 nays, 1 absent. The absence being Councilman Melvin. Thank y'all.